FDG ED Fair. This is what's called the the Doug Nevins training routine. This is a former coach of mine. He's a former Gatorade Coach of the Year, former pro player. He would run this practice with us every single session. And what was great about that is that it created this consistency that we could look forward to, right? There was a flow to the practice, and since we knew what was going to happen, we could kind of not only visualize it, but it allowed us to there's always some slight variations, but it was generally the same format, and so for those reasons it was a lot of fun. So it looked like this, right? It goes warm up, right? Warm up, possession, finishing on goal, and that's broken up with two sections. One is Slotsville, the second is Volleysville, so slotting the ball away in the side netting, and then just volleys on goal. Section number 4 is crossing and finishing. Section 5 is playing the big goals, and there's some nuances here which are important. So let's dive in. For warm-up, you could search, if your team doesn't have a good warm-up or you think it could be better, you could search the warm-up of any professional team. I think it's good to see that, and if they're slacking in warm-up, then that might translate into poor practice. So you want to make sure that their warm-up's decent so that you can prevent injuries and just get really, literally warming up the muscles, tendons, and ligaments so that you're ready to play, right? So that's super important. Cool down too, super important. So possession, right? So depending on numbers, I've drawn out, I'm gonna assume that you have at least a half of a field for practice, right? So you can use the natural line of the 18. This is my crudely drawn 18 box. So you can continue that line down. So if you've got kind of less numbers, you can use this whole section, right? Some coaches even will cut it off here. So you can use this section, or if you need a little bid more room, you could extend it all the way down. And if you got slightly larger numbers, you can either go, I'd have a slightly dotted line to this half. And I think restricting the area of the size of possession is important because it forces your players to make faster decisions, right? You don't want them so tight too tight where they're in a sardine can, but definitely smaller than necessary. And plus what happens is, you kind of want them to be fresh in their decision making and their movement so they can start to connect passes so that the speed of play is there. They have good creativity. There's good energy flowing. So there's no breaks in between any of these, right? Players can take a break whenever they want, but you should kind of go bang, 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 bang right into it so that there's just a good flow of energy. And so all the players are, right, it's going to be the beginning of practice. They should be rearing to go. So that's why, you almost don't want to turn your possession into a fitness, right? Into a fitness focus. You really want to focus on speed of play, creativity on and off the ball, and just making good decisions on and off the ball. So I think that's ideal. And with these sections, if you have a lot of players, you could go half of the field possession. But in general, I just remember Doug keeping it tighter, and there'd be 3 different variations of possession. One possession game would be 2 different teams possession. Another variation was 3-team possession, monkey in the middle style. If you have got pennies or it's the summertime and you have one set of pennies, and then assuming that it's boys, you could go shirts versus skins or whatever. So shirts, skins, and then pennies. Another variation is putting gates on the field with thin cones. And then when you put gates on the field, then it's possession, and the way to score a point is passing through the gate to one of your teammates. And what this does is that it makes, right, so players could start to go players are smart, right? They're going to start to go back and forth between gates. But what's going to happen is a defender is going to try and bring pressure to that gate so that players can't go back and forth. So what then attackers have to do is recognize where that pressure is coming from, find an open gate on the field, and try to swing the ball there. So for this reason, that game's great at just recognizing pressure and shifting the point of attack, exactly replicating how you might go about that in a game if you're switching the point of attack from the right side to the left side, things like that. So that's also a very fun game. My personal favorite was monkey in the middle style possession. So then you go right into finishing on goal, right? Finish on goal, number 3, finish on goal. I have a 3 written here, right? So everyone would line up with balls in their hands, and this is kind of psychologically taxing on goalkeepers, right? Because they're getting just shots blasted at them for like 15 to 20 minutes straight. So you want to tell your goalkeeper before this starts, or if you have 2 goalkeepers, ideally, you say rotate in and out wherever you want. You tell your goalkeepers if you want to just pop out, get some water, whatever you want. Right, it should be at their own goalkeeper's pace, because this can get tough on goalkeepers. So, right, you have everyone line up here in Slotsville, right? They just take the ball, then they, fast sprint, and then they tuck the ball in the side netting. That's Slotsville. So you do maybe 10 minutes of that, depending on time. Volleysville, you stand here. Players stand facing you, and you're facing the goal. They hand you the ball. You throw the ball over their head. They spin around, and they have only one touch to volley the ball on frame, right? That's Volleysville. So it goes, finishing on goal is half of the time Slotsville, tuck it inside netting, hard, low-driven ball on the ground, very hard for goalkeepers to save, and then right into Volleysville, right? So, players go through two, 3 times, finishing on goal, and then for Slotsville, and then 2-3 times they do Volleysville. Then right into crossing and finishing. 4 lines all together, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Balls are on the wings. Wingers are rotating, right? So you're going to get one winger, pushes the ball diagonally forward and crosses it. Then these 2 attacking lines, right? One person from each line goes. They make a crisscross run, finish on goal, right? Then you reset. Then this winger goes, right? You're alternating winger lines. Then winger goes, push the ball forward. These guys, crisscross run, finish on goal. That's it. No whistle, right? Just whenever they're ready, they just go, and they recognize when they're ready to go. Unless you have a backstop, you might need to reset balls a couple of times, right? Because players are either going to miss or they're going to finish on goal. So, and that's it, right? 10, 15 minutes. Finish on goal, reset the ball 2 or 3 times. That's it. Nice and easy. And then you go right into playing to big goals. Playing to big goals, you want to bring, let's assume that you have a big goal, right? The same size as this goal at the halfway line, right? So you actually want to bring this one maybe even a little bit closer, and then you're going to make cones, right? You make cones, so you make the field very narrow. And you want to split your team up into 3. This is super important, right? Because if you just have 2 teams playing against each other, there's nothing won or there's nothing gained if they win or lose, right? But if you have 3 teams, King of the Hill style, and you put that 3rd team on the outsides as bumper players, 1 touch, then what's going to happen is the players on the outside are going to be very engaged because they want to get back on the field. If you lose, now you have to get off the field. As a player, I love playing, so I want nothing more than just to play more. So that's why there's kind of more enthusiasm, and it kind of it cultivates a higher level intensity of practice, right? It raises the competition level. So, right, so 3 teams rotating, King of the Hill style, playing to big goals. That's it, right? Finish with playing every practice, and then you run this practice back every time, and you're going to have a lot of great success, because if you can cultivate a higher level of intensity within practice, then all the teams you face in the future, you're going to have a lot of success for the season. So hopefully this helps. Reach out with any questions. All right, thank you.